Hey, so in my last video I read off all of the different changes, said some of my thoughts on them, but never actually really got into detail about Murakumo and the Clawblade changes. As somebody who used the Clawblade a lot, and still I enjoy the Clawblade, it's flashy, it's fun, it looks really cool, I just really didn't enjoy the playstyle towards the end game where you basically can never get hit. It's easy mode. Do you want to kill something fast? Pick Clawblade and just fucking go. You'll never get hit, you'll never have any issues, the iframes are insane. It's all just crazy. And while you may be thinking specifically about the iframes that the Bladed Wagasa has better iframes, it does. I mean, a button that just says no, I don't want to get hit, and then I'm going to do more damage is pretty nutty. It's the fact that you have to press that button correctly. Whereas with the Clawblade, you could be mid-attack and just dodge out of the way of something and then go back in. Do I think the Clawblade needed these nerfs? Yes. I absolutely think it needed some form of nerf. Do I think they might have over-nerfed it? Yes, I think they did. I think it's a little harder to play now by a large margin, but it's also not really it's a nerf, but it's also a change. They changed how they wanted it to play, is what I am guessing. Because before you were able to be flying in the air all the time, have a massive gauge off of just using your 3 boxes, and throughout the entirety of the fight off that one gauge pretty much be able to stay in the air. Whereas now, you aren't really able to do that. And not only are you not able to do that, it's harder for you to actually get off your big move. Before, I was able to get off I don't know what it's called, fucking Phoenix Slash, whatever you want to call it. I think Phoenix Slash works pretty cool. You could get that off of one box. You could get on a box, do 2 attacks, and still be able to get off the slash. Now, it takes a little bit of commitment to be able to get it off, and once you use that ability, it feels like it drains your claw gauge entirely. So if you get interrupted while doing it, you just no longer have your claw gauge. Now the reason why I say it's a big change rather than just a massive nerf is because they added in the ability to combo through your different claw attacks. And one of those combos, I won't take credit for it. Hang on, I need to look up who did find this out. Well, apparently there's a rebalance for Clawblade coming up. So, fuck me for making a fucking video, I guess. Okay, so the user on Reddit who posted this that kind of made me realize it's a little insane, goes by the name of Angry Salesman. So thank you so much for being a Clawblade user who is willing to sit through and actually test how good this weapon is versus how bad it is. It's essentially an infinite combo as long as you have gauge, so not really infinite, but you don't have to worry about it. Is if you just use your down, see, it's B for me, I think it's X normally. The downward vertical slash, you can just keep pressing that button and you will keep spinning on them, building up your hidden gauge, special move, whatever. You can do that. While you can also combo into your side slash, your heavy spin, and then back to your downward spiral slash. The heavy spin starts to take away a lot of your claw gauge, and then once you actually have the Phoenix Slash, I forgot that I'm calling it that, it starts to have its issues and will use up a lot of your gauge. Whereas if you're just using the downward slash, you kind of just can do it. And it will slowly drain your gauge no more than if you were just sitting there flying on it. Now, this isn't entirely realistic. A lot of kimono do move around, and even as I was testing this on Murakumo, who I will also be talking about, it has its moments. What I feel from the Clawblade changes are you have to be a lot more patient and a lot more methodical about what you plan to do. I found myself going back into the mindset of, oh, I will be fine with Clawblade, when in reality I just get knocked out, lose all my gauge, and am almost dead. So I'm actually happy to hear that they're going to rebalance it. I hope they don't overtune it again. Because in the long run, balance in a game like this is very important. You don't want one weapon to just feel massively overpowered over all of the other weapons, because then it makes it feel like, what's the point of playing the other weapons? And while Clawblade wasn't able to get insane speedrun times, it still could compete. And to be fair, I'm still a little iffy on whether everyone's using... I don't like the speedrun times. I think they're kind of meh. People say that a weapon can get sub 15 hunt, but also they're using traps and sneak attack and making it so they aren't even noticed until the last 15 seconds of the fight anyway, so it's really a 2-minute hunt. That's a whole nother thing that I personally feel it's meh. We need consistency and should just use the external timer. So that's my thoughts on Clawblade. I think it's still a usable weapon, and with the rebalances it probably will be great. I will, I guess, cover that next too whenever that comes out. But let's talk about Murakumo. An actually insane fucking fight that I am scared to try to take on when they're volatile. Nor do I find a reason to really take them on while they're volatile. They're super cool. The lightning blossom whole aspect of it is really interesting. Their look is fantastic. Their enrage is splendid. My first time ever having a crash in the game happened in my Murakumo fight. That's unfortunate. But after 3 tries, I did actually eventually take them down. And that's including with the crash. I think they're hard. They're ridiculous. They're fast. They have extremely hard-hitting attacks. And even with them not being volatile, they were able to proc my resurrection within the first few minutes of the hunt because of this really stupid, and I just hate it, but it's so cool, and it's great. But that stupid AoE blast thing that does all of your health if you can't get away in time, yeah, that killed me a lot. I think Murakumo is fantastic. I think that's the perfect way to do a fox. It looks super cool. They even had where like the branches or roots on the tail flare up when it enrages, so it does kind of keep that kitsune kind of form. It's perfect. It's such a good kimono design. Its attacks are flashy and spectacular to look at. They hurt like hell, and it's really hard to find an opening. Which, that's not all bad. That's pretty cool. I think it's just a great kimono design. The armor, on the other hand, I think is very lackluster. Personally, I couldn't find anything really awesome about it, other than the fact that they gave us more that has Mortality Water on an endgame set, so at least it has a little bit more defense. Fatal Foray again, so we could start trying to get more procs of that. I think you can now get up to 20%, 25%. Everything else looks really defensive. I mean, actually no, I think it's a fine set as I'm looking at it right now. It's very fine. It's not great. It's no, game breaking like when Grimstalker was out. But it could make for some interesting sets, and I might actually have to play around with this, because I've always, like I've said multiple times, wanted to make a Mortality Water, Fatal Foray, Bridge Burning build, because I think that could be interesting. I just haven't had the time to sit there and figure out how to do it. But those are my thoughts on that alone. There was a whole bunch of other things, but I think it's important to keep in mind, nerfs are going to happen. If you feel the need to quit the game off of a weapon nerf, it wasn't the weapon nerf that brought you to quitting, it was you were already so close and now your favorite weapon's gone. Or they say they nerfed your favorite weapon and now you just don't want to play. So, all I ask is if they nerf your weapon, stick it out. The only people who have any reason to bitch and moan are bow users, because they just get no love. They got fucked last patch, they got fucked this patch. There's just no reason to play bow anymore, I guess. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video where I actually talked about the 2 bigger parts of the patch notes. I still haven't gotten the kitty kitty combination, so I don't know what the spinning top does. I hope it's a blade, blah 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 blah. I hope it's a Beyblade that just, you know, shoots off and destroy parts like I was hoping it would be. Not that that's a hard thing to try to call, but I gotta take my win somewhere, you know? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget, I am streaming tomorrow at 7 a.m. Around then, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be able to wake up in time. My link will be in the description below, twitch.tv/littleangst with an underscore in between the two. And hopefully I'll see you all there. And if not, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.